Oh boy, what a day.
Oh shit, we're starting.
Oh my god.
Get out of here.
Oh no, it's on.
Oh boy.
Oh man. This show, man. This fucking show is fully like...
This show don't quit.
No, I feel like when we were saying it at the end of the season 2, the Flanderization of it all, like it's really... I feel like it's become like... Yeah, fuck it. We'll just make a bunch of random shit.
Yeah.
It's like good, but like it's like just it's leaning into its goofier sensibilities.
I'd love to like live in Drew Carey's head at this time in his life. You know, whenever he's just kind of catching fame,
right?
You know, and he hasn't cut. You know, now he's a celebrity. He's been a celebrity for a long time.
He's been through a lot.
He's a game show host. But at this point, as like he was a new comedian, and he lands this big sitcom, and it's a hit. And it's just like, and did he always have these goofy, crazy sensibilities? He's got some like, and I don't know, like I like a lot of these like musical numbers, and like we're gonna get into it, with the new intro, that ends up being the intro for the show. But like, I just like how I've never quite watched a show that's like almost so proud of the place that it comes from, and I think that's just probably, I guess, Drew. Cleveland doesn't seem to be a part of his personality anymore.
Sure.
He's been someone in Hollywood for a very long time. But like he was this up and coming celebrity that was very proud of this place maybe that he came from. I can't really. It's very interesting.
Well,
it's cool to watch.
Let's get into that then with season 3, episode 3, Strange Bedfellows. Like you said, new title sequence. I like that they're dropping new titles in like the 3rd episode. Like I don't know, was it not ready for the first episode?
Yeah,
it's
really know what
weird.
that's about.
I don't know either.
But they do. This is the extended sequence.
We're
talking about the cold open.
Full.
Cleveland Rocks by the
presidents of
the United States. Interesting, this song that I didn't really know about.
Yeah.
So the President of the United States, you know, this wasn't a song originally by them. It was a song originally by Ian Hunter from his 1979 album You're Never Alone with a Schizophrenic.
But is he from Cleveland?
He's from England. He's from England. The original song, the song was first released as England Rocks in 1977. And then it was a single. Yeah, it was a single in the UK, and then he released this one about Cleveland. I don't know. It seems fucking crazy and random, but I guess at the time,
I think it's the easiest, right?
It was just like
Cleveland, swapping lyrics.
Yeah, right. Cleveland,
it's just clearly,
England.
What's got land in it?
Yeah. Yeah,
still,
he said,
respect.
Hunter states on his website, the inspiration for Cleveland Rocks goes back to the old days when people used to make fun of Cleveland. Cleveland was uncool and LA and New York were cool. I didn't see it that way. A lot of heart in Cleveland.
Hell yeah.
So that, I guess, is how it, or the origin. But then a little bit of the lore of it, this original song, which, you know, it's kind of the same. I like listen to it, and it's just like, it doesn't rock nearly as hard.
It's
as
a little less
the President of the United States.
Alternative 90s rocky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the song was played every Friday, this original song, at 5 o'clock p.m. on a Cleveland radio station, WMMS, beginning in 1979.
Hell yeah.
And then it obviously became like a victory song for the Cavaliers and the Indians and the Browns.
Yeah.
So,
nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love that this was repurposed. I'm guessing, if I had to guess, I'd say the President of the United States probably re-recorded it for this show specifically.
Yeah, the song was covered in 1997 by the President of the United States as the opening theme for the Drew Carey
It's
show.
a great. I love them as a band, and I love this song. Obviously, it's the fucking theme song to this podcast,
right?
So, you know, I enjoy it a whole lot. I'm not surprised that Drew has a lot of love for it. I love that. Again, we were talking about like these big sort of ensemble things. They got a whole goddamn city in this. It seems like we obviously it starts in the office.
You know, we talked so much in the prior couple eps about them shooting in these Warner Brothers lots.
This is
very obviously shot in Cleveland.
Yeah, no, parts of it absolutely. We're in the ballpark. I don't know what the Indians ballpark was.
Jacobs Field at the time.
We're at Jacobs Field. We're at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
We're at a bunch of different places all around. I mean, there's a whole like sequence of just
Even the
Drew
street,
singing it.
them running down the street, it looks like they shut down like some part of Cleveland
Yeah,
to do
to
it.
get that
And then
whole
like he
mob
has all
running.
these shots in front of like different museums or different like he's with like the law enforcement in
He's
front
with
of
cops. He's with kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really fun. But yeah, it starts in the office with them all counting down the clock, and then everybody's just running. Then we're in the
Yeah.
ballpark. There's like a whole lot of fun little Cleveland shit in it. It's really good.
I mean, it feels like there's like 1,000 people running down that
Oh,
street.
it's a whole lot. It's hundreds. Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
like every extra in Cleveland. Every working actor in Cleveland.
Yeah, and they go through, and this is like the extended version, like we said. So it goes through this whole narrative.
My
He's
favorite bit was he gets his glasses broken because he falls on like a beer tower that somebody's building.
Yeah.
And they drop him at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he goes in and they steal Buddy Holly's glasses. When I saw them out there with the glasses, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what they're going to
Yeah,
get. It's
you
such a
literally
good
called
bit.
it before they did it.
It's such a good bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the whole thing. Shout out to the production team for like knowing. Again, I think it's weird. It was the third episode's new titles, but
Yeah.
you know, it's a really good time.
It's such a good. It might be like an all-time kind of sitcom title sequence.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And even when we get to the second episode, like the way that they condense it's still pretty nice too. It's like
Yeah,
probably
it
under 60
condenses well.
seconds, and it works really well. Yeah. Shout out Presidents of the United States. Shout out Drew
Crushed
Carey.
it.
Absolutely killed it. Yeah, it's good. We start this episode with Kate hustling Drew at pool in his own backyard.
In his own backyard, it's
He
Oswald,
sucks.
Kate, and Lewis.
Yeah. You know, Lewis. Well, actually, Lewis is inside.
I mean, sorry. It's Oswald, Kate, and Drew.
and Lewis
and
is
there's-
inside watching Babylon 5
And
alone.
he has to watch it
He
alone.
can't watch it with anybody else.
So
And
that's
then
why they're outside.
When it's done, he pulls up the blinds quickly and he tells them that hockey is on. They can watch the game.
Yeah.
So Drew runs in, but we get Kate and Oswald out there staying and kissing and
Yeah,
trying
exactly what I said last ep, dude. I
Yeah.
knew it was going to. They're just going to keep it secret.
to. Yeah. Well, they
gonna-
want to as best as they can.
It's just going to be them behind everyone's back, making out, and that's exactly what it was. Drew goes in to go watch hockey, and they stay back. They make up some lame excuse,
Drew's not even
Oswald's
listening.
like, I'm going to see if she can make that shot again. Yet Drew's already left, and then they just start kissing, and then there's a moment there where Oswald's like, so what do we have, a real relationship or whatever? And
Is this a thing? I think. Basically.
is this a thing? And then Kate's like, well, if you can do what you did last night every night,
There you
it's
go.
a thing.
There you go.
So
Shout out Oswald, goofy, but he got game.
yeah, Goofy, he's got game. Clearly, he can fuck.
Yeah. Shout out Oswald.
Shout out Oswald, he can fuck. A goofy motherfucker can fuck.
So yeah, Drew is watching hockey inside with Lewis. There was a moment, I don't know if you wrote it down, but you were definitely laughing at it, where they're talking about his like memory issue or something.
Yeah, well, they talk about they're watching hockey, and Drew's like, I can't believe you're still watching. You can still watch a game, after you got hit by that puck. Mm-hmm. And then Lewis is like, what are you talking about? He's like, that whole summer we had to like
Teach
learn
you
how to walk again.
again.
And Lewis is just like staring into space, and Drew's like, didn't that seem redundant? So yeah, I guess Lewis lost his memory at a hockey game one time. Well, Lewis thought he played hockey. I don't know what that was. That I got no idea.
It was whatever it was. It was the audience enjoyed the fuck out of just the 1,000-yard stare that they got from him. There's a knock on the door, and we get our first new character of the season.
Yes.
New love interest, Nikki Pfeiffer. She's a realtor, and she's helping new neighbors in. Drew has new neighbors, and they are getting a lot of shit done. They're getting like a pool installed.
Do we know what neighborhood he lives in?
No. I mean, it's Cleveland, but we don't know anything like suburb.
Area.
No. We still don't know what happened to the Hick neighbors that were across the street in season 1.
Yeah, well, that's just what I'm like wondering. Is like, he used to live next to white trash, and now his neighbors that are moving in, they're putting in. Nikki describes because she needs some permissions from him to put a dumpster in his yard, because I guess the construction projects are going to be a pool, a Japanese garden.
Yeah, they're getting a lot installed all at once, and they
lot
don't
of
have the
money.
space for a construction dumpster. So they asked Drew if they can just use his driveway for it.
Yeah.
And he's even like, okay, that's fine, but on the condition that you don't start before 7:30.
Yeah.
And they go, unfortunately, we're really tight, but thank you so much for the permission, Mr. Carey. And she
Yeah.
just kind of like leaves.
Walks all over him.
Yeah.
But clearly these they got some affluent neighbors moving in next door. They
Well-
even bring it. Lewis and Oswald say, "Hey, new place to pee."
Yeah,
Nice.
they got a pool of rich people, new place to pee.
Yeah.
But then this starts like a whole. Oh, and just before we get off of that, Nikki Pfeiffer, played by Kate Walsh. I always like to name these actors.
Yeah, Kate Walsh. Is she in anything else?
I did not Google that.
Okay. Kate,
But-
if you're there, let us know.
Kate,
Come on the pod.
As always, open invitation to anyone from the Drew Carey Show. Cleveland Rocks Podcast at gmail.com. But yeah, no, so Drew kind of feels, he agrees to it. He just kind of rolls over. And like they're all like, I can't believe he did it again. Like all the rest of the gang is all back in and they're all like, Drew, you do this all the time. You're just a pushover.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't really know.
What is that shit, though? Sometimes they do just gang up on him.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what, Drew? This is you. Classic
Well,
you.
Bullying works. I think that's what, because like Drew's not getting it really until Oswald brings up the time that he got into an issue with the pizza guy. Apparently he ordered a pizza with extra onion. First of all, for fucking no.
Onion pizza.
Onion pizza's gross.
No.
Yeah. And he
I can
wanted
do
extra.
onion on a pizza if we're doing maybe a veggie pizza. It's
Sure.
all right. You can get some green
Right.
pepper, some onion. Just onion?
Disgusting.
Extra onion? Get the fuck out.
Anyway, I guess the pizza guy was looking out for him because the pizza arrived, there was no onion on it, and Drew just kind of rolled over and took his plain ass pizza, and that was what triggered him to be like, yeah,
He did him a favor.
I do just do this though. he did. That's what I'm. Yeah,
He did it. Pizza guy helped him out. You know what?
Pizza guy knows what that tastes like.
Yeah.
he knows what your breath's gonna smell
But
like.
no, Drew really had an existential moment here. It was like, I'm no longer going to take no for an answer.
Yeah, he's gonna be more assertive with how he handles himself.
Yeah.
Good luck, Drew.
Yeah. Godspeed, Drew.
Godspeed. This kind of starts at the next day in the office then. So Drew is in a meeting with the board and they're on a teleconference. We're watching it on his computer screen, which Kate is watching.
What this is, and he mentioned something about this being put on by the overarching company, which is
Interesting.
in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So, which made me think, is this is this a feed only? Because for what goes down,
Yeah.
I'm like, is this a feed only for Kate? I don't
Right.
understand.
I
Or is
think
this
it's
like
it's
a big meeting.
I think it's an international meeting and everybody has access to it, but really you're only supposed to be watching it if you're overseas or something. Like it's for specific people, but because Drew set it up, it seems Drew's the nerd. He calls himself the dork of the company.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to get them to get more involved on the internet or something.
Well, that's what he
shopping
says
online.
in his pitch. He's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, we need to start advertising online because geeks need to shop too."
Yeah. And he would know.
I love geeks. we don't say that word anymore.
Yeah, it's become a slur.
Is it a slur?
I don't know, but we got to bring geek back.
Yeah.
Geek Squad. I can't think of any
Geek
other
Squad,
instance
I
where
guess,
we use
okay,
it.
it can't be a slur if we're using it
For in a corporate branding.
in a corporate branding.
I had a moment. I went to get my phone battery replaced a couple weeks ago, and I had an appointment with the Geek Squad, and I wanted it done same day. So I go to the Best Buy and I go up to the help desk and I'm like, "Hi, I'm looking for the Geek Squad. I've got an iPhone battery replacement." And they go, "Oh, they're over there. But I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to go to them." This is the dude and I was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah, you want to go to the Apple store. They'll get it done same day. We can't do it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I just turned around and I left.
Wow.
So I guess fuck the Geek Squad is what I'm trying to say.
So when you saw the geeks, you saw the Geek Squad with your eyes?
I saw it like Moses
Are they
saw
just
the
sitting there
promised land.
waiting to do anything?
Yeah, they're just sitting around. They're all high. They're just
Best Buy's like, you don't want to go to that.
Trust me.
Trust me.
Yeah, we've been through it.
Those geeks we keep in the attic? No, you don't want to.
Yeah, you got to dust them off. You don't want that. No, but I did see them from afar, and I was like, oh, Okay, I guess I'm not gonna go to the
Apple
Geek
really did the right thing calling them the Genius Bar.
Yeah. That's exactly the right kind of branding.
How do the geeks feel that
The geniuses.
they're still being called the Geek Squad, and then they look over at the geniuses?
Yeah, I could go to the Einsteins or the nerds. I don't know. Yeah, no, for sure, it is better branding. But yeah, no, he makes a pitch on behalf of the geeks. Thank you, Drew Carey.
Yeah. The geeks need clothes.
Yes, and at this point, we see Mimi is kind of watching Kate watch Drew on the feed, and she's like, "You're not supposed to be doing that," and like. Kate gets caught. Kate is doing it because Drew has asked her to give him feedback on his presentation in front of the board.
Yeah.
So Mimi strikes a deal with Kate basically that like, I won't tell anybody, it won't be an issue so long as a box of makeup off the truck tomorrow just vanishes.
Yeah. So she cut a deal. Drew, his pitch ends.
Yeah.
Drew comes back down, and they basically start watching to see what Miss Lauder and what Larry, who was the other person in the shot, make of Drew and what they say about Drew and his pitch.
Not great.
First thing she does is like make fake glasses and talk about, oh, I'm a geek and we need clothes. Or
Geeks need shopping.
Yeah.
And like, it's just, and then Kate's like, oh, well, at least they didn't put an embarrassing sign on the back of your jacket, and like pats him on the back and pulls off a sign.
Yeah.
Like they just clearly do not respect Drew.
And then the most interesting part of the episode.
Yes, well, Drew keeps the feed on. Again, I think we're getting the defiant, assertive Drew.
Yeah.
He's like, well, fuck it. I know I'm not supposed to have this, but I'm going to keep watching. And I guess ostensibly the board presentation ends. To your point earlier, I don't know if people can still see this.
Are people watching this in Amsterdam? Because Miss Lauder, and also do they not realize the camera's on? Because Miss Lauder
Gets up.
says, oh, you know what day it is, Larry?
Yeah.
It's hump day.
Yeah. And they basically go to town. She wants to be Jane of the Jungle.
And he's the monkey boy.
He's monkey boy. So here's my thing. We knew that they were sleeping together.
That's how Larry got the
That's
board
how Larry
position
got the
as
employee
the
board
employee
position.
Rep.
The employee representative for the board is he's sleeping with Mrs. Lauder. That's how he got the job.
Yeah, but I thought that was a one-time thing.
Right. I didn't realize. I guess as part of it,
do it every week,
every Wednesday. Yeah. So he takes off his shirt, and we see him like flexing in an undershirt for Mrs. Lauder, talking about how he wants Mr. Wick isn't around anymore. Why doesn't he have to show up anymore?
He said Mr. Wick hasn't come to 3 meetings.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
we don't know anything more
yet.
And
she's just talking dirty to him, I guess. And Mimi is now looking over Drew's shoulder and is disgusted by watching them make love, make the monkey love,
make the monkey jumping sounds under the table. The table's moving around.
It's not good. It's not good.
Good for Miss Lauder.
Good
honestly.
for Miss Lauder.
She is old.
Yeah,
that is an old woman.
Yeah, he's jumping bones.
She is.
He might literally just be jumping bones at this point. There might not be anything else with her. Yeah, no, it's pretty big. So.
And they just kind of like watch it wide-eyed.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And Mimi caught all of it. So anyway, the next day, we go to Mimi's house.
Yes, we're still there with Wick. So Wick, it seems, is less crazy than he was in the last episode. Like he was still like delusional and like
after the storm.
Yeah, the shock has sort of worn off. I think the trauma is starting to wear down on him.
But he is still being kept
coddled.
He still believes that the store is in rubble. She makes some joke about Drew. Did they find Drew's head? So he thinks Drew's dead.
Yeah, he thinks everybody's dead and the store is still in ruins and it's not safe.
Right.
And Mimi is doing him a favor in this alternative reality by helping run the store while he heals, basically. She's nurturing him.
She's feeding him, bathing
him, and then also, running Winfred Lauder on his behalf, basically. Yeah. So she poses a hypothetical to him of like, if you saw, Larry and Mrs. Lauder sleeping together in the office, what would you do? And he gives 2 different answers. He said the old Wick would use it as blackmail for Mrs. Lauder to get Larry fired.
Yeah.
And then, usurp his power for the board. But the new Wick, who seems to have been, lived through something so traumatic that he wouldn't want to hurt somebody like that, would have a pillow fight and then give everybody Jello after. So just the softest baby shit you could ever imagine. Yeah. And she says, well, half of that made sense.
This storm really ruined this.
Yeah. I've never been in the middle of a tornado, but like that shit fucks up houses. Like I can imagine it would fuck up.
Okay, yeah, but like I don't know. I've watched Twister.
Yeah.
They didn't act like big babies.
Counterpoint. Can I just present? I don't know if you've thought about this. Were any of the people in Twister British?
No.
Do the Brits know about tornadoes? What kind of weather did they get over there?
I always wondered,
rain.
like other countries don't really get tornadoes.
I don't
like
know
we
how
do not
true that is, but
no,
it feels true to me.
Not as many as us.
Yeah.
Like I think China does.
Uh-huh.
But like you got to imagine with the kind of landscape you need for tornadoes. I feel like the U.S.
but
uniquely gets them in like high population areas,
right? More than anyone else, because of how is Cleveland. Like realistically, I don't think Cleveland gets a lot of tornadoes, does it?
Probably not a lot, but it's in a region like especially Tornado Alley is expanding. It has been expanding for decades.
Tornado Alley?
Yeah, you don't know about Tornado Alley?
I don't know about Tornado Alley.
Oh, Tornado Alley was like Oklahoma, Kansas. It's like this designated area where tornadoes happen by like meteorologists or whatever. It's like an unofficial term.
Yeah.
But it's now kind of expanded, climate change, whatever. But it's growing, and it's grown into like you see a lot more in like northern Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky.
It's going more north.
It's going up towards the Rust Belt and everything.
Wow.
And but like Ohio always kind of had Ohio's a lot of like agricultural like farmland and everything, and even Pittsburgh area, Western PA, up on the Allegheny Plateau, it was still prone to.
Did you ever have a tornado growing up that you
we would do like we'd practice if there was a tornado.
We practiced,
and then it happened like a few times. There would be like little ones, even as recently as this last year. There were like a few little ones in the Pittsburgh area.
Sure.
Yeah.
I remember being in, I guess, my freshman year of high school, and there was a tornado watch, and they told us to shelter in place at my high school. But I went to this kind of shitty small Catholic high school where it was just too hall. Our shelter in place was on the second floor in the gymnasium, which felt like I don't think you want to be high up like that, do you?
I always thought it was all bullshit. They like want you to get away from the windows.
Yeah.
So they're like,
which makes sense.
They would tell us to go into the hallway and just get on your knees and lean against the lockers.
But still,
even on the second floor.
Oh, on the second floor.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. They wouldn't shuffle kids downstairs. It would just be wherever the closest hallway was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't feel.
I remember the most exciting thing for me was I finally got to use the shelter in place box we put together. Like the little, you ever make one of those? Like the plastic boxes that had
No.
Oh, okay. We had I guess kids have them now for inclement weather / like it's like shootings or something. I don't know. But it's a little plastic tin you would make, and it would have like non-perishable food and like something to keep you entertained that wasn't a smartphone.
What would you put in there?
We did.
What food?
I had peanut butter crackers and like a crossword book. And a pen.
Well, good. You won't be bored.
No, not by having to solve 7 down. Yeah, I'm a thinking man. As a 14-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, you could have brought Sudoku. That
would have been killer. That would have been killer. You know what though? Even then, I could have told you I hated math, so there was no way I wanted to try to figure out a number puzzle. But we had one instance I had a tornado. Otherwise, I don't think I ever fucking opened that box.
Anyway, there's a tornado in fucking Cleveland.
Anyway,
well, there was, and it fucked Wick
and
up.
it traumatized a British man.
So
anyway,
Mimi's keeping him sheltered and running the store through him.
Yes.
Cut to the office the next day.
She's taken the old Wick's advice, basically. I guess first of all,
we shouldn't jump the gun.
Yes.
Oswald and Kate are there.
Yeah, we get a Drew moment
Oswald's
with them.
delivering packages, and Kate just happens to be there.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, Kate, what are you doing here?" I like that he says that like Kate doesn't work there. Yeah. Like, what do you think she's doing there, dude?
And then Drew's like, "Oh, we can all get lunch," and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, we have plans."
I mean, I have plans, and maybe she has plans. I don't know. Kate pretends to faint to get out of her ex. Like Drew's like, "Oh, well, what are you
Explanation for
doing?" And
plans?
Drew's like, and she's like, "I feel faint, but Oswald will tell you what he's doing while I faint." And then she collapses to the ground, and Oswald like,
And
he's
then
like,
Oswald's like, "I have more work."
I'm gonna work through lunch.
And then Kate's like, "Oh, and I got errands."
Yeah.
So
It's very obviously
They're doing a
weird.
bad job.
They're obviously
they're
weird
doing
with
a
this whole
horrendous.
thing.
As they're doing exactly the kind of job I would expect them to do.
The kind of job I would expect Oswald to do. I don't really know if I would expect Kate to be this bad, but I guess she's antsy.
That she has her own levels of incompetence.
Sure.
They're all friends.
Yeah.
You
It's
surround.
weird.
yeah.
It's awkward. I get it. Absolutely.
No,
So-
I mean like you surround yourself with incompetence. Eventually, it rubs
Oh, it
off.
rubs off on you. I
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Drew hasn't really caught on. He thinks something weird is
going
happening,
on.
and that's basically what he accuses of. I forget how we get out of it, but it's no. It basically is Larry comes out with a box.
Yeah, we learned that, again, Larry has been fired. Mimi took Old Wick's advice, blackmailed Mrs. Lauder, and Mrs. Lauder, and I guess ostensibly Mr. Wick, but not really, fired Larry for, before...
Fucking Larry.
Yeah, man, poor fucking Larry. Can't catch a break. Yeah, that's how they get out of it, and that's honestly why Drew's probably too preoccupied to realize that anything incredibly weird's going on. It's because Larry's fired.
Larry just
and
got fired, and what he just watched.
Yeah. And also he's annoyed because he knows that Drew had the feed up and that Mimi saw it via that.
Yeah. How is nobody asking more questions about Wick at this point? He's just gone, and Mimi fired him.
Yeah.
It's all too. Yeah.
It's I would have caught on by this point, I think.
Yes. If Wick is sending all these memos and everything's going via Mimi.
Yeah.
But sure, Larry got
Something's-
fired.
Yeah. Larry's fired. And not only that, well, we get my favorite line of the thing, which is, "You saw me make sweet monkey love to Lauder." Sweet monkey love. Yeah, man, he's the monkey boy.
I love that
through.
he called it sweet.
Sweet.
And it was love.
Yeah. Well, all love is sweet. Even the monkey love is sweet. Yeah, Larry's wife comes in, and Larry's under the impression that she doesn't know why he got fired, just that he got fired.
Yeah.
So he's like, don't, mention it or anything. And then she just fucking chews him out.
Lays into him.
Lights him up.
And
she's
Drew,
like,
Drew's just kind of staring and watching, and he's like, "What are you looking at?" And Drew's like, "My life if I got married out of high school."
yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, no, she's like,
And
so
she totally caught on.
Yeah, she caught
knew.
on. She comes over, yells at him, kicks him out of the house, is taking the kids.
Yeah.
She's like, we're done. Like, we're done with this shit. So Larry's life is ostensibly over. Drew offers to take him to lunch, but before he can do that, Mrs. Lauder comes by. Larry hightails it out of there.
Yeah.
And we, Mrs. Lauder's like disappointed, I would say, as well, that this came to light in the way it did. But the upside for Drew is he was next in line for Larry's position.
Yes, as the employee rep on the board.
Yeah,
So now Drew's on the board.
He's the employee rep. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bananas.
Yeah.
I see monkey. I didn't even
We missed a great line where Mimi comes over and she's like, "Here's your severance pay," and she drops
a thing of
bananas
into his box,
in
of
his
stuff.
box of shit. Larry's
good.
box of shit.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. Anyway, Drew got the keys to the employee gym.
You got the employee gym and then the swipe card for the cafeteria, I think.
Yeah.
And she's like, you can use the key to the
As a
gym as a
paperweight.
paperweight. Good. So yeah, then we go back
Good
to the
for
house.
Drew.
Good for Drew.
Even though it came at the expense of Larry. Fuck Larry,
Yeah.
man.
Fuck Larry.
Although Larry,
Maybe my favorite.
Larry might be my favorite after these last two eps.
Yeah, Larry. Yeah, well,
We
the next
learned
one we're
a
gonna-
lot about Larry.
and what he's willing to do to get to where he needs to be.
we
So,
cut to Drew's house.
Yes, Kate and Oswald are there. They're with Lewis.
They're being fucking weird.
They're being.
Just I know you're being secretive, quit being like.
Well, yeah, they're being cutesy. They're being like high school cutesy. Like it's puppy love almost. Like he's like Oswald stuffs his face in the thing of popcorn that they're playing around with.
I guess we find out that Kate was doing something with popsicles.
Yeah. It's like very amateurish.
And even Lewis is like, ugh, come on.
Yeah.
Right. What do you?
I'm surprised he hasn't pieced together yet, though, with all of this.
They're all so stupid.
Yeah, they're all kind of dumb.
They're all so stupid.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just like so unbelievable
that
those two could be
would end up together. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so out of the realm of possibility for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Then Drew comes in and tells them all the good news that he got this job.
Yeah.
He's like, they fired Larry and now I am the employee rep. I got the cushy job that I wanted just 4 episodes ago or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, and they're like, aren't you ashamed that it didn't come from your hard work but at the expense of another coworker? And they're like, no. What are you talking about? Drew's like, what? No.
Drew feels really good.
Nikki comes knocking at the door.
We get Nikki in
the real estate agent.
To talk about an issue that has arisen. She asks Drew if he has a dog, and does the dog poop in the neighbor's yard? And to which Drew has a great line where he's like, I don't ask and he doesn't tell. That's just how. But it turns out that Drew, it seems, has left a bag of dog shit on his new neighbor's front yard.
Yeah.
And Nikki's just trying to figure out, hey, what the fuck?
But I guess, look, she asked for permission to put a dumpster on his lawn, and now they got a fucking porta potty out there.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed, too.
Yeah, they're overextending. They're taking advantage of Drew.
Yeah, they have. So, you know what? This is new Drew just trying to assert himself a little bit.
Yeah. And not only does he try to assert himself, he swings big, and he asks Nikki out.
Yeah.
Basically, he's like trying to give more conditions of like things that he wants.
I didn't pick up on this immediately when they had first met, that Drew was like, I wanted to go out with this girl, that he was intimately interested.
Yeah. I think the rule is for this show, if Drew is in a scene with a woman, he wants to sleep with that woman. I think that's generally the guiding principle for the Drew Carey show.
Yes.
If you put Drew with a woman who we don't really know the circumstances, but if she's not Mimi Bobek, he's probably going to want to sleep with
that
her.
woman. Yes.
So he in like his argument
rascal
against this, against her like stepping on her, he's like, by the way, what are you doing tomorrow night? Like basically, and she's like trying to
interested.
struggle to find like the words to say no. Without saying
she looks
no.
for an excuse, and then at some point it leads to he is not taking no for an answer. He asks her another way.
Yeah.
And then, Oswald and Kate from the wings are like, oh, look at what's on TV tonight. Shut up and save your pride.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they're trying to bail him out, but I guess
it's a repeat, Oswald says. But no. They try to bail him out. She goes bye-bye. Larry comes in, right? To break this
Larry's next.
Larry comes in to kind of break the tension of this.
And Larry's got 2 suitcases, and he's wearing a fedora.
Yeah. He is wearing... My man loves hats. And you know what? If I was bald like him,
You'd probably
I would
be
love
a hat
hats
guy.
too.
Yeah. I think bald guys are just hat guys.
Yeah. I mean,
I went to a therapist a few years ago, and he asked me why I wear so many hats. I have hair, and he was like, "This is the only." And then he said, "This is the only reason I wear hats," because he would always wear. And he pulled it off, and he was just bald,
fully bald.
Yeah, fully bald.
Larry's got.
He's also like 100.
I think that comes with it. Larry, at this point, is not fully bald, but he's bald enough that it's a problem. Like he's got the sides still in the back.
He's got the Dr. Phil. Baby.
Yeah, he's got the Dr. Phil. It's a rough look.
It's everything around the sides and nothing on top.
Mm-hmm. It's business in the back, front's all empty. So he comes in with 2 bags and he's like, I got nowhere to go. My whole life's ruined. It's kind of your fault. Like he tries to guilt him into being like, I need a place to stay.
Yeah.
And again, Drew the pushover is like, yeah, no, that's fine. You can stay here. Like,
well, he's in a good mood, right? So he's just because he got that position. So I
guess, yeah.
I felt like he was smiling and he was feeling charitable, maybe.
Well, and also at this point, we should make it clear Larry doesn't know that Drew has Larry's old job.
He doesn't realize it.
So he's thinking, well, this is maybe my good Samaritan moment.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, Larry is now rooming with Drew.
Yeah. So later that night, then we hear like a pounding on the door, and Drew is like, Jesus Christ, and it goes to answer it, and it's a drunk Mrs. Louder.
Yes.
She's like, it's caught in a storm, so she's like wearing a jacket with rain on it. He's like, have you been drinking? And she's like, have you been eating? Like,
and
really,
she's like, where's Larry? And
I
she
guess
starts
she knows,
shouting his name. So
she knows he's
somehow
there.
that Larry. Because where else would you go in Cleveland? If you're down on your luck, you need a place to live. You go to Drew Carey's
Drew Carey,
house.
yeah. So he comes up
push
from,
over Drew's.
We find out he's in the basement. I don't think we've seen Drew's basement.
No,
I'm
but
very
apparently there's a setup there where you can live.
Yeah, or at least sleep on something.
Yeah.
He comes up there and he's like coyly talking with her, like, "Oh, hello," like kind of like flirty, kind of not, just straight up. And
basically, she wants to pay him off to never talk about it.
Yeah. So gives him some money, and then she goes, "Oh, and by the way, while we're being so frank, Drew took your position as the employee rep on the board."
Yeah.
And then drops a chaos bomb and just fucking leaves. She walks out the back, and then Larry and Drew were just kind of there to deal with it.
It didn't create as much tension as I thought. I think because Larry's freeloading off of Drew's fucking house.
Yeah,
now.
he realizes Drew holds the power here. Drew has a steady income. He's got his fucking job. And he also has his house. So, yeah, it's like not great, but you know.
Yeah, Larry talks about, he threatens him, but not really, because, yeah, again, he's not in really a position of power. That's kind of how we leave it. He like menacingly takes a pizza back down to the basement.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
We cut to the office the next day, though.
And we get another
Miss Louder encounter. She comes down to Drew's cubicle, the Drewbicle, and she's like, well, Drew, today we're going to get Mimi fired.
It's Fire Mimi Day.
It's Fire Mimi Day. And Drew is
thrilled.
So happy.
Elated.
And she's like, and you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And Drew's like, oh, my God, I didn't get you in. What can I get you?
To what do I owe you the honor?
Yeah.
So he thinks like, it's like for the list of reasons that you could fire Mimi Bobek.
Yes.
But no, Mrs. Louder has a scheme in mind.
Because I guess, Mimi had ruined her good time.
Yeah,
She's
to
ready
ruin
to
hers.
ruin Mimi.
So she asks Drew, I have all of this stolen jewelry from the store. From the store.
She
I want
wants to
you
plant it in her purse.
to put it in her purse. Yeah. She needs a henchman, basically, because Larry used to be her henchman.
Yeah, which I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I thought he was just fucking
I thought he was
around.
just a fuckboy, but I guess he was also her henchman.
So Drew's like, oh, do we have to? I don't feel right doing this. I like that Drew sometimes has a spine.
Yeah.
It's interesting, like,
It's
hot
weird
and
when he
cold.
does.
Yeah, you never know when it's going to be, is, I guess, my thing.
And, like, defending Mimi, you figure would be the last time he did it. But sure, I guess he likes Mimi.
Yeah.
They like each other.
So, like, he's willing to, like, that party. Remember when they walked to that party together because they weren't invited? Like, yeah, But... yeah, so he refuses to do it. He tells Mrs. Louder, he's like, I'm not going to do this. I'm sorry. He's holding the jewelry in his hand. He's like, I can't do this. You're going to have to find somebody else to be the employee rep. If this comes with the job, I don't want it.
Right.
And she calls him like a geek, basically. She's like, you dweeb. Like, this was, whatever.
I think she called him, like, a boob or something.
Yeah.
It was something, it was just nothing
zero
insult.
respect from this woman towards this man.
And then the episode just kind of ends.
Well, we get Mimi comes out and sees the stolen jewelry.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, security.
Like she should have been the henchman, obviously.
Yeah.
Drew, I think Mrs. Louder is under the impression that Drew reported this or like told Mimi instead of Mimi doing the whole thing. Mimi should have very clearly. She's cut out for that. I don't know how.
She'd be a great henchman.
I don't know if she wants to sleep with Mrs. Louder, but if she does, the job's all hers as far as I can tell. So, and then you're right. It just kind of it ends.
It just ends.
Like we get a resolution, I guess, to the Drew job thing, but there's a lot like up in the air.
Drew said he would resign the position. I don't know if
he does resign the position.
Drew's like, I'm not going to be your henchman, and then upon refusing, he's like, I resign from Larry's spot on the board.
But
so that's, I guess, the resolution of the episode. But then it just ends, and then it cuts to
the credit
scene of them just like maybe it seems
running through the streets
of Cleveland.
It's from Cleveland Rocks. It's just that, or it's from the titles. It's just the long run.
Yeah,
it's cool, But yeah, it
And
feels
that's it.
Yeah, it feels like an abridged, and maybe again it's because the cold was so long because we're introducing this new title sequence. It's just like a very long titles and not a whole lot of episode. There's a lot still up in the air. Obviously, which we get into then in the next episode.
In the next episode,
Season 3, Episode 4.
Misery Loves Mimi.
Boy, does it. It does. We open up. It's another Wick Mimi scene at Mimi's
back in
house.
Mimi's house. Fucking Mr. Wick still lives there.
They're playing hide and seek, which I think is fun. I will. Be
Yeah.
honest. He's such a little baby.
He's
at this
such a
point.
little baby boy at this
Yeah.
point. It's been weeks.
It's been 3 weeks, and he's like, he's trying to find Mimi, and he can't. And if you've been playing hide and seek with a woman for 3 weeks in her home, I think you would know everywhere to look. Like he looks in like her closet, he looks under a couch cushion. I think.
Mimi doesn't seem like she'd be good at hiding.
No,
either.
something. I don't think Mimi Bobek's the hiding
just
type.
doesn't seem like she'd be good at hiding.
So he can't find her. He loses. She comes out, and then he asks what his punishment is. And he implies, like, is it the spanking machine? He says spanking machine. And then he says this. He said, with all of the joy of a child on Christmas morning. What the fuck is going on?
I thought the naughty boy shit from before was like
a pretend thing
Was
that they
pretend.
did to fuck with Drew.
he's a little freak.
He likes it a little
He
bit.
likes
It's-
it's those English boys.
Yeah, those British boys like the spanking machine.
He loved the spanking machine.
So then Mimi wants to play again just to kind of get him away, I think. So they play hide and seek. He hides. She locks the dresser that he's hiding in and takes a phone call. We don't know who it's from, but it's basically somebody from Winfred Louder who's
Yeah, it
asking,
implies the office.
Yeah, who's asking, like, what the fuck is going on with all these
memos from Wick?
Yeah, and she's like, I'm telling you, I am his liaison while he's out of the office right now.
And
Anything.
he wants troll dolls as the mannequins.
Yeah, he wants these big troll dolls to be the mannequins. Yeah.
We already know about her affinity for troll
She
dolls.
loves it. Yeah.
She has them all over her desk.
I
can't believe at this point no one's catching on. Clearly,
Yeah.
I guess they did a little bit, but
somebody's willing to call. Yeah. But so, yeah. They find him. Hide and seek is over, and then Wick decides that he needs to talk to Mimi. And he's like, so what's going on with the store? And she goes, oh, it's still in ruins. The storm was very bad.
because he sounds like, but he says he's ready to manage the store again.
Well, he's like, when he realizes it's still in ruins and it's been 3 weeks, he's like, they need me. And like, this is the most like clear-headed he has sounded, I think, since the storm.
Yes.
So, she's like trying to think of a way. He's like, give me my big boy pants. Like,
She's like, okay, and she goes back to the room.
Yeah, goes to the
get
closet.
the big boy pants. And then on her way, she goes to the closet and she
pulls out like a piece of sheet metal.
Yeah, you ever like make the thunder noise? I felt like we did that kind of shit in elementary school.
Yeah.
Like where a sheet metal would just make the
loud sort of thunder
noise.
and scares
and then
the shit out of Wick.
she has a flash on a camera. She takes a photo and she basically just fakes another thunderstorm. And then Wick, PTSD, curls up in a ball on the couch
and says, "Mother, can I stay longer?" Like very clearly, he's not ready to leave. So she's just lying and taking advantage of this trauma he's got to make sure that she can stay in power. Power corrupts. That's the
Mimi
lesson
would
from the
make
Drew
a
Carey
great
show.
politician. Mimi, she missed her calling here.
Yeah, she could have been a congresswoman.
She could wield power.
Yeah.
Forever.
And I think that look would sell with a lot of people. I think it's like abrasive enough and also memorable enough that I would be like, yeah, I'd vote for that woman. Yeah. I mean, not me, but somebody.
Definitely someone that takes themselves seriously.
Yeah, which is what I want from my politicians, very clearly. So yeah, that's the cold as we get that whole sort of setup for the Wick situation.
Then we get the title sequence, the Cleveland Rock thing shortened.
Abridged.
To what would the abridged version of what we're going to see regularly.
It's nice. It's good.
It's great.
I feel like it's like 45 seconds or something. It's
After
pretty sweet.
it being their third go, it feels like they finally nailed it.
Yeah.
And they obviously knew it too, because it ends up just being the theme song.
Do you think
the
they
show.
kept? I'm now dwelling on why it's still the third episode where we got these new titles. Do they think we kept it so we could get that Moon's over Zorma joke or whatever the fuck in the first and the second
That might
episode?
have been it.
That might have been it. They were like, okay, so we got this thing, but we got this other thing.
Why couldn't you have done that and then cut to
Yeah, the new titles.
Well, no, like why couldn't that? Because like
No, I hear you.
why
Yeah.
wouldn't that sequence have been in the first ep? Because the alien ep was the second ep.
Yeah.
I don't get
know.
it. Whatever.
Again, if anyone knows, anybody from the Drew Carey Show,
Break it down.
Cleveland Rocks Podcast at Gmail.
Maybe it took them a while to record that.
I think it had to. That's my guess. It's like they were still like either working on shots in Cleveland or something. Like maybe they were recording all of the season and then at the
The
end
edit
of it,
was taking a while.
could have anything.
I mean, they lip sang the whole thing.
yeah, so it's not that the song wasn't ready or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so then we get Drew after the titles. We get Drew in his house.
Well, at first it's a backyard pool shot.
Okay,
I forget who's playing pool.
Lewis,
in the back.
and he's like, and if I make this shot, I'm the luckiest man
yeah,
in the
it was
world.
weird. I don't know why Lewis had this little moment for himself.
He misses the shot, but then he throws the ball on himself. It's also the 8-ball, by the way. Aren't you not supposed to get the 8-ball in, or are you
on
supposed
the
to
last
call
shot.
It? Yeah,
The
but
last shot,
didn't
you have
call
to
it.
get the 8-ball.
He didn't call it.
I guess if you're by yourself,
Nah, it doesn't matter.
you don't have to call it if you're by yourself.
Okay, fine.
Anyway, we're back at Drew's house. My notes for this scene, my first one is just Kate and Oswald are clearly sleeping together.
Yeah, so before even that, we get Drew, I think, trying to... I was under the impression that he had gotten Nikki to agree to a date. I think later on we learned that's not true. That's not the case here. But he's like trying to, I guess she's coming over or something, and he's like trying to sell himself to her, and asks Lewis how he looks. He's wearing his lucky cardigan sweater.
Yeah, that's right. He's like trying on he's wearing a cardigan. He does look like an old man. He's
Yeah.
wearing the cardigan with the tucked in blue shirt into the slacks. That's an old grandpa look.
Okay, can I just make it? I think I've worn an outfit like that a couple of times, and like I was like, oh, he's looking okay, but
Dog,
then everybody
that's
tells
a
him
grandpa
no.
look.
Oh, look, maybe she likes grandpas. Sexy
Cardigan,
grandpa.
you can wear a cardigan, but like pair it with a t-shirt, jeans, anything to make it more casual.
This is 1997. I don't know. Do we have t-shirt cardigan technology? Do we have that kind of casual?
I guess we don't have style yet.
No, we're working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Bill
had
Clinton, Bill
t-shirts.
Clinton has his best people on it. It's, so yeah, no, he says this is the lucky sweater got him laid twice, and one of them was a what the hell, it's 3 a.m. So
yes.
I think he's hoping it'll give the charm for this lady.
Yes, and they tell, and Lewis is like, definitely not.
Yeah.
So he takes it off.
He
and
ditches it,
we
but-
see massive pit stains on those. God, what I feel that in the blue,
light blue shirt.
light blue dress shirt, the pit stains.
Yeah.
It's such like the light blue dress shirt, a classic look, right?
Yeah.
Timeless. People wear those to work all the time. I never, like when I was going into an office where I needed to wear, I had one, I would never wear it because it showed the pit stains worse than any other shirt.
Right. Yeah.
It's just,
It's like that. Even like a
humiliating.
white shirt doesn't show it as bad as that. Yes.
Right. White shirt's fine. You just got to get a new one every 3 months because it's yellow
it's gonna
now.
yellow out. Yeah. But while they're having this conversation in the back and they're deliberating his outfit, I'm sorry, not Drew. Oswald and Kate come in.
Yeah.
And they're clearly trying to rush back.
This is where my notes picked up.
Yes, it's okay. This is we get them trying to what are we doing? Are they going to know that we just slept with each other? Should we tell them this, that, the other? Kate's like kind of iffy on it, and Oswald doesn't like that she's iffy on it because it reminded him of when he was in the 6th grade and he didn't want people to know that he had kissed B.O. Betty.
Yeah.
So he feels like B.O. Betty, and I get that.
He's feeling a little like B.O. Betty.
Yeah, nobody wants that. But
They
they don't know
realize-
how to tell them.
And then they realize on the way to the backyard that they're wearing each other's clothes.
I knew this right away, but I was like, wait, no, it can't be right?
I was
Dietrich
just
Bader's
like,
got like a tight shirt
I
on.
was just like, why is his fucking shirt so
That tight,
And
yeah.
why is he looked like a camp counselor in that shirt?
And Kate looks like a skater.
Yeah.
Kate looked like she was like some sort of like crust punk. I don't know.
yeah.
So they realize it right before they're going to go out, and they try to start switching shirts. And then Lewis comes in.
This is the best.
And he goes, "Oh, sweet, belly time." And he also lifts his shirt up, and then he like opens a beer with his belly button.
Yeah, he literally sticks
a beer bottle in
and opens the fucking beer with his belly button. That's the most badass shit I've ever seen in my life.
It's pretty cool. It's also like so
I wanna
stupid.
do that.
It's so stupid.
I really want to try it.
Yeah.
I wonder, I definitely can't, but like, how do you earn that skill?
Do you know how I do you have a deep belly button, would you say?
Yeah, I got a deep one.
I do too. And me and Stasia, my girlfriend, got in an argument this week. Yeah.
Belle took the craziest ball of lint out of my belly button.
Okay, I do this all the time, and Stasia is so mad that I'm picking out my belly button lint.
Well, you can't leave the lint in there.
This is what I say, and she's like,
"What does she say? You leave the lint?"
I think she thinks it's gross. She thinks like if I go deep enough in there, like I'm gonna pop my stomach or something.
What the fuck does she think?
I don't know.
Is in the belly button?
I don't know. It's lint, but we got into the whole thing this week. I want to go. So, do you believe there's a belly button smell?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't smell.
There is a belly button smell.
Yeah, her mom.
If there's not a belly button smell, I mean, you're kidding yourself if you don't. Get
I
a
don't.
good
You know
whiff.
me. I don't have the best sniffer. Like I'm not one to really like pick up on a lot of scents unless they're overwhelming. And belly button smell must be slight enough that I'm not really.
It's definitely slight.
Yeah.
How
would you describe?
I'm a little ashamed to admit.
Uh-huh.
But like it does take a deep dig and then a good sniff.
Yeah.
To catch something.
Finger to nose.
A dog would know it a mile away, but with a human nose, it takes a good whiff.
Yeah.
But there's a smell.
She FaceTimed her mom and just asked, "Is there belly button smell?" And her mom was like, "Of course there's belly button smell."
It's like a crevice in your body. Of course there's a
yeah,
belly
I mean,
button
look, it's
smell.
sweat. Isn't it just sweat? There's
Yeah,
no like specific.
it's just sweaty.
But it's not. So
It's
that's
just like armpit.
right. But that's not. Then that's armpit smell. That's body odor.
But it's your belly button.
But it's not belly button smell. It doesn't have a specific scent to it.
Oh, okay, but it's like armpit smell is just BO.
Sure, so can belly button sweat be.
I don't know if like armpit sweat has a distinct smell.
Over belly button smell, but belly button smell does.
I know this is why you listen to this show.
You were into I'm going to dig through right now and we're going to see.
But you found a little lint.
Not much, just a little bit of lint.
I usually don't have lint.
Yeah.
But I the other day I was shirtless. So I had just woken up, and Belle pulled out the biggest hunk of lint you've ever seen. I mean, I'm talking like you could have.
Okay, for the viewer at home, it looks
like an inch.
It looks like you're like an Oreo size, is what you're saying.
It's
was
like
in your
if
belly
you
button.
gave your dog a haircut and you like balled it all up. You pulled that out of my belly. It was insane.
Yeah.
It was like you emptied the dryer and you stuffed it in your belly button. The dryer vent.
The belly button is the human lint tray.
Yeah,
That's what it is. You know what I mean? And sometimes you got to clear it out.
And like the dryer, you got to clear it out.
And I think
or there's going to be a fire.
I think if you don't, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's all hygiene.
Yeah.
What the hell am I going to leave it in there?
Yeah.
Going to ferment?
Yeah. I like
So,
this. I
hold on.
like that we've agreed on this.
Well, this is interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
So Stasia,
Yeah.
she believes there's a belly button smell.
Yeah.
But she doesn't think you should be taking the lint out?
I think that's correct because she doesn't want the belly button smell to
it'll get
spread.
uncorked.
Yeah. Something like that. I think it's just the general concept
That's some girl logic.
Digging through your belly button grosses her out. And I get it.
I get it. I
have a very deep belly button.
I don't think. What are you in up to your wrist?
I'm fisting my belly button.
Yeah, you got up to your elbows in there.
We've lost some good men in my belly button.
I don't know. It's not like picking your nose. I don't think it's that gross.
No, I don't know. But anyway, all that to say, Lewis opened a bottle of beer with his belly button.
That's just
I
fucking
think,
awesome.
I think I could do that.
I think mine's deep enough. I could do it
Yeah,
too.
you'd have to I'd have to angle it right. I think I'd spill. I think that's my problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so he's doing that while they're swapping shirts. Then they just don't swap shirts because they realize they're kind of all
And nobody
preoccupied.
catches on.
Nobody catches on. Nobody says a thing.
Nobody's thinking about it.
But yeah, so that it's at this point Nikki comes over And Drew's neighbor's construction is done, so she's out of here.
Yeah, she's just here to say thanks.
And we realize there's no date, or at least I realized there's no date. I don't know if they said this earlier, but Drew's like, taking his last effort. She's noticing the pits. She's asking if he's working out. He goes, oh, yeah, just a little bit. And then he's embarrassed by the pit stains.
Yeah.
And,
I'm surprised Lewis should have gave him a heads up.
Yeah.
That's on him.
Bad friend.
Bad friend move.
But, yeah, it's at this point also, he's like, I'm trying to be better. I'm going to lose weight. And Larry comes up and he ordered pizza.
Yeah,
so
Larry,
he's got this strange man in his basement and makes it seem like Drew ordered the pizza.
Yeah, Larry ordered 3 meat lovers pizza, and he just is like, Drew, you need to pay him.
Yeah, he makes Drew pay for his pizza.
What the fuck is so Larry is just freeloading off of Drew's house, and now he's making him pay for his meal. Even Drew's like, Larry, you got to pay for your meals.
Right. But the problem is Larry don't got the money. Drew doesn't have the money. He asks the friends if they have money.
He's like, oh no, my friends will spot me.
Yeah.
And then they don't have money.
Kate has Kate has $4. Lewis has a button. Oswald has a marble. I like that he's got a marble and he just rolls off the kitchen table.
And then
so then Nikki pays for the pizza.
Nikki pays for the pizza.
I also just want to say 3 meat lovers pizzas, $20.
That's a steal.
That's pretty good.
Although they kind of look like personal pies.
Yeah, I will say they look like
Larry's
small pies.
ordering small pies.
Does Larry know that it could probably be more cost effective to just order 1 large pizza?
I don't think it's Drew's money.
Yeah,
I don't think Drew. I don't think Larry's worried about it.
That is true. So yeah, Nikki pays, and then Drew's like, "Oh, I'm going to pay you back, I promise." And then while all this is going on, he gets a phone call from Mimi, presumably, or somebody, and he has to go into the office to work. And it's on a Saturday, and he's like, "What?" Mr. Wick says everybody has to go into work.
Yeah, so, of course, Mr. Wick says.
He tries to...
I believe that.
Me, the guy watching the show, who knows what's going on. So yeah, Mimi... so Drew tries to sell Nikki on like, hey, do you want to see where I work?
Yeah. Because she basically had almost agreed to go out with him.
Yeah.
Drew had presented this idea like, oh, let me pay you back and I'll take you out to lunch, and he just has to go to an ATM.
Yeah.
And as she was saying yes, he got this call. So he basically almost locked it down, and now he's screwed. And now Mickey's like, I'm not interested. She leaves, and Drew's like, damn it, that was my chance.
Yeah.
So
anyway, he goes into the office, and we see a bunch of Winfred Louder employees wearing like these gaudy outfits. Like Mimi's in a dress that's...
Everything says shop Winfred Louder.
Yes, but it's like in rainbow font on black. And actually, I gotta be honest, it looks gaudy, but like it's not the worst design.
It's definitely not the worst thing she's ever worn.
No, for sure. I just don't understand why they all need to wear it. But obviously, it's Mimi's world.
It's Mimi's world.
We're just living in it. So,
all the men have suit jackets.
And she gives Drew one as well.
That says shop Winfred Louder.
He's not interested. He kind of wants to know, like, where Wick is. Like, he asks, like, can I go speak with him? And no, I think Mimi says he's like on his way to a doctor's appointment or something. And then, Drew catches her in some lies. He's like, okay, well, when he's out of the meeting with Mrs. Louder, can you let me know? And she goes, sure. And he goes, aha, you said he was in traffic. And she goes, he was in traffic on his way to the meeting. And she goes, aha, you said it was a doctor's appointment. Like, he catches her in this bullshit.
He caught her.
Yeah.
He's onto her.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm going to tell the board. And Mimi basically goes, no, there's no need for that because you're fired. And we find out, which I think is very on brand for Mr. Wick. Mr. Wick has everybody's firing ready to go as a written notice.
Yes.
In the event that he ever caught laryngitis. So he's like fully ready to go.
People don't really get laryngitis all that often. I've had it a few times.
In the last couple of years you've had it.
It's the worst.
Yeah, because you can't talk.
I've had to tell people I got laryngitis, and they're like, who the fuck gets laryngitis? It's the worst. Yeah. So, you know what? I feel Wick on getting his work done before. It's a good setup.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so... Anyway, she fires him. She calls security. She has security come up to escort him out of here.
Yeah.
And obviously, Drew's not going to stand for this. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to figure out what's going on here.
Right. So we go to...
And I will just say, As they're escorting Drew out,
Yes.
there's a nice moment where he's like, get your hands off of me. He's like, I worked here for 10 years. I'll escort myself out. I'll go out like a man. Mm-hmm. And he just starts walking out, and there's like the audience goes, oh. And I was like, these guys, these suckers.
Do they think this is like a very special episode of the Drew Carey? Like, do we think it's like a
yeah?
What do they think it is?
And then it's a perfect setup because then he just comes back. He goes off screen and then he comes back flailing, trying to come up.
Runs back in like a maniac.
Yeah. But anyway, so
we then go to the Warsaw. Where else but America's favorite bar?
Yeah, well, I mean, that'd be the first place I go if I lost my job.
Kate, Lewis, and Oswald are all there, and Kate and Oswald decide that they're going to tell Lewis before they tell Drew
Smart.
what's going on with this whole situation.
Yeah.
So they're like, we're going to tell you something before we tell Drew, and then, it's like, we're dating. And he's like, dating, like, for real?
Yeah.
Like, couple stuff?
Yeah.
And Oswald's like, yeah, like couple stuff. And then he fucking knocks everything off the table and flips the table. And
he's like, I'm very happy for you.
He's like, Drew won't take it as well as me, though. So then we get Drew, and Kate like tries to figure out if she can find a way to let him know what's going on.
Drew comes in.
He's hot.
He's
heated.
pissed.
He's like, is now a good time to tell me something?
Yeah.
I just lost my job. Like, he's just exploding at her. So yeah, he's pissed. And then it's at this moment that
Larry comes over. Larry's at the bar, remember?
Oh, yes.
Larry comes over and Drew's like, hey, you got my rent?
Yeah.
And then Larry gives him
the payment for his whole mortgage.
Yes.
The payment on his whole mortgage.
He's like, Jesus.
How did you make
get all this money?
And then Larry goes like, I'm selling my hair. Like something very clearly. It's also at this moment that Drew sees, or Lewis spies, Nikki sitting at the bar. And he's like, oh, Drew, this isn't good for you. But then Drew decides, no, he's going to take it as an opportunity to go over and pay her back that $20 for the pizza.
Yeah.
So he gives it to her in, like, I swear to God, like singles and then coins and then specifically pennies for the last, like, 10.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a man of my word. Now, can I get you a drink, too? And then Larry comes up and he's like, hey, man, they'll give us free beer for food stamps. Nothing
good
like that
for a couple of unemployed guys. And yeah, and then Nikki's kind of like, I'm not here to take care of another man. I've heard it all. Mm-hmm. I've heard it. All the excuses about, I'm going to get a job next week. It's all going to work out. She's like, I'm not into it. Yeah. And kind of blows off Drew there. Drew walks back over to the gang. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of hamburgers at the table. We come to find out that I guess anytime that Drew goes to talk to a woman,
they set up his
comfort food and they order it automatically. Not his friends. The bar just automatically gets it for him.
I know.
Yeah. And then anyway, Drew's like, you think I'm going to sit here and eat after this? I'll take it to go. So then he heads out and he decides he's going to go confront Mimi.
Again, we get assertive Drew. He's
going to take it all back.
Yes.
He's ruined his life, this whole jobless thing now. He's like, he's not going to stand for us.
So he goes with Lewis, and Lewis reminds him, we don't know what we're going to see in there.
We don't know what we're going to see. We might see her in there munching on Mr. Wick's bones. We don't know.
Yeah. So, but then Drew knocks and we hear Mr. Wick answer like, hello. And we go, oh shit, that's, so we kick down the door.
Yeah.
And there he is just like sitting. There's like thunder noises playing.
Yeah, they have an audio
The
track.
windows closed.
It's called Scary Halloween Sounds, which is what we find out because Lewis picks up a tape recorder.
Yes.
And he's like, I lost my virginity to this. So fun
Lewis lore continues to drop for us.
Anyway, they come in and Wick's like, Carey, I thought you were dead. And,
And he's like, oh, it's the worst storm we've ever seen. And they pull back the curtain. It's a beautiful sunny day. So this is where we realize,
why would she lie to me?
Yeah, he can't realize. He can't see the deception. It's a shame. So Mimi is outside of her door waiting to kind of present as a lie. She's got a jacket on. She's like
spraying
spritzing
herself down,
There's a big fan. I don't know if she's going to try to make her hair look crazy.
Yeah.
But then she realizes what's going on, and Drew's like, this is everything you do is pretty bad, but this is maybe the lowest you've gone.
Yeah. She kept him for 3 weeks, and she fed and bathed him and ran the store.
Yeah. So it's at this point that they're like, we're gonna free Mr. Wick. And then he agrees, and he starts to leave with her or with Drew. And Mimi tries to win him back by singing "You Are My Sunshine."
Yeah, it like hypnoptizes him.
Yeah, and Drew's like, "Don't look in her eyes." And I guess like she's got the big blue eyeshadowy eyes.
Yeah,
and it's just he starts singing with her and looking at her, and like we think for a moment like he's lost, and then Drew goes,
and then Lewis also gets hypnotized.
Gets hypnotized, but Drew goes, "Oh, it's a shame. All of the success the store's had, and she's gonna get the credit for it, and none of it'll go to you." And then snaps out of it. He's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. And then Lewis stays. He's still hypnotized.
Lewis stays. He still wants it.
He's still singing.
It's no good for him.
But yeah, anyway.
So now
the next scene, they cut to his house. A lot of interesting shit happened in here.
Mostly through Larry.
Via Larry.
Yeah.
So Drew comes in. Larry's standing there in like a pimp coat with a big leather hat.
I love him, man. I love that. He's got a leather fedora.
He's got a leather fedora that he apparently bought for Drew. He's like, I got you a leather hat. And he sticks it on Drew's head. He displays this giant
TV.
big screen television. Big screen TVs in the 90s were hilarious.
Because they're still box TVs.
They're still boxy.
They're still fucking huge.
Yeah, like, imagine trying to fit that in an apartment.
Well, the apartments were bigger in New York in the 90s, I'm sure. But yeah, no, it's, and then we go to the kitchen. The gang's all there.
They're like, hey, Larry bought us lobster.
Lobster dinner. Drew's like, where are you getting all of this money?
Yeah.
And Larry's just like, the economy's good. And he's like, it's even good to unemployed people.
Yeah,
like,
to people who
clearly doesn't make sense.
I'm still being stupid at this point, and I'm like, is Larry? I mean, I knew something's up, but I'm like, maybe he has money in the stock market. I don't know. But I'm like, that would be too much of an obvious.
Larry put it all on Microsoft at just the right time.
You're right.
Yeah. And then to top all of this off, Drew gets a knock on the door, and Nikki's there.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? I was wrong. I think it's for the best that I can try to date you. I think I was rude and judgmental too early, and I'd be happy to give you a try. So Drew's like, hey, cheers, everybody! Look at this great
everything's
news
coming
all
up. Drew,
around.
everyone's they got a bunch of money, and she's gonna go out on a date with him. And
it's at this moment that Kate decides she's gonna also add on to the great news that's going on. Everybody's in a good mood. She's like, I think I found the guy for me. And Drew's like, wow, that's great. Who is it?
She's like, Oswald.
And then Drew's like, okay, Oswald, who is it? Mwah, perfect. And then it's at that moment that like he's like, no, it's me. We're dating. And Drew, before he even gets a chance to respond,
the DEA breaks down.
FBI, cops, everybody just comes through and they're like, freeze, and like demands everybody gets on the ground. Larry keeps his hands up in the air.
Yeah.
And they're like, drop the pizza and start eating carpet. And he's like, I'm just holding it for my friend. I don't know. And we realize then that Larry is a drug mule.
Yes.
Larry was peddling, or you assume. I don't know what else he could be holding that would be that valuable, but
it had to be drugs.
He's some kind of mule. Yeah. So, and then while they're all on the ground getting arrested, Drew's asking like Nikki where she wants to go on the date next Saturday, and his neighbors come in and they're like, "Hey, we just wanted to introduce ourselves." And like they look at the scene. I don't know how you don't see the flashing cherries and berries outside.
Yeah, and be like, maybe not today. Maybe next time.
But they drop off their plate of cookies and they go, "We can exchange numbers later." That's okay.
Yeah.
And and then that's where it ends until we get to the credits scene.
The credit scene's just a bunch of mugshots.
All their mugshots, including, we didn't even talk about it when we did the Winford Louder, but we do see what the troll doll looks like.
The troll doll mannequin's just fucking huge.
It's huge, and it's like gaudy as hell. And for some reason, it was also arrested and put into the Cleveland Police Department. So, but yeah, that concludes. It really felt like this was a two-parter that was made in. It was one episode that was made into two.
Right.
It's very clearly like all the same continuous.
Well, I mean, again, with how abruptly that first episode 3 ends this season, you're like, it needed.
Yeah.
But,
a whole lot.
Now we got some resolution.
Right. But we still got
Larry's
a lot
in
going
jail.
on. Larry's in jail.
But now we got a new love interest.
We got Drew and Nikki. We get to see the fallout from Kate and Oswald, if there is any, or how they deal with that. And
Maybe
we get
just say fall in love and they have kids.
that'd be nice. I don't think that's going to happen. And then we get Mr. Wick. We also get to see the resolution with Nigel Wick coming back to the office after being lied to and hidden from the world.
And held captive by Mimi.
So if that's not a fireable offense for Mimi,
But
fuck the
well, we didn't
jewelry.
even talk about it. At the end of that
Oh yeah.
scene. It's not like Mr. Wick was mad, because I think there's still a part of him that understands that he did lose his marbles.
Yeah, and she
Mimi
cared enough, or was there
helping him.
Yeah.
She just abused that.
Yeah. So at the end of
But
that scene, as they leave,
he does come back real quick and he gives her a peck on the cheek.
and then she grabs him and turns it into a full-on French kiss, tongue.
And then he leaves.
Yeah. So,
But
so maybe
clearly, I don't think there's bad blood.
No.
Like, Mimi's not getting fired.
no.
I think he still appreciates her, but like, I don't know. I'd still be. I might fire her after
Yeah,
that. That's
I would.
crazy.
I would. Oh, this show, man, it's fucking nutty.
All right.
All right. Thank you for listening. Give us a good rating if you like this, please. Somebody. Anybody? No, we got enough ratings.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Instagram at Cleveland Rocks Podcast. You can email us, clevelandrockspodcast@gmail.com.
You can just say nice things.
Yeah. You can also just, whatever you
If you
want.
see us on the street, say hello.
Yeah. Somebody should post this on the Drew Carey Show subreddit. I don't really want to do that myself. I don't want my Reddit username, I guess, out there. But like, if somebody wants to, maybe I just started.
What the fuck is your Reddit username?
You'll never know.
Is Reddit supposed to be something you do in private, in secret?
When we were in college together, I found out one of our mutual friends' Reddit usernames, and another friend found out that I knew their username, and it was I'll shout him out. It was Greg Keating. Heard about this. It was one of our friends, and Greg told me, he's like, I feel like if you know somebody's Reddit username, that means you have to marry them. Like, I think it's like that intimate and personal. I don't know. But somebody, give us some love if you can, if you're enjoying it. And if you're not, just don't tell us ever. Thanks for listening. Bye.